Welcome back to the channel. So you can see one of my alien lights has died. If you don't know what that is, I'll throw a link for you up here and down in the description. But the problem is, my access to it's blocked in by the world's dirtiest fox body. So I thought it would be a good day to dig out the old electric pressure washer and the cheapest electric pressure washer foam cannon you can get on Amazon. And before this goes on too much further, I should mention that this video right here is the founding video in a playlist for washing cars at home. So my end goal here is to replicate the experience from a self-serve car wash where I can just roll up, spray my car off, half an hour later I'm on my way and ready to roll. I fully admit in some ways I'm going to be kind of cheating because this has been my father's business since 1988. So for instance, what you're looking at right here is a full-on professional grade foamy brush from a actual commercial car wash. This is legitimate hog's hair and all that crap. Where I feel it makes sense, I will go for the straight professional grade stuff. But for stuff like a foamy cannon, there is no professional analog of that really, and it's gonna all do the same job. It puts soap in water. If you are a person who shares my dream, I can make commercial equipment like this available to you, but it's very expensive. You have to understand this is commercial equipment. So you may not want to do that. But in the future, there will be other videos in this playlist linked right up there and down in the description for you. Spoiler alert, I've already played with this a little bit, and that's why the box is open. And if you don't know why it matters if it's electric or not, because I didn't either until about 5 minutes ago, apparently electric pressure washers, and I'll go as far as say is maybe even cheap pressure washers, regardless of electric or not, run this sort of a attachment system. So it's just these two barbs, you stick it in your wand, give it a half turn, and it locks in. Real or commercial pressure washers run something much more like a air fitting quick disconnect, like a Type M coupling. So this foam cannon kit came with a wand that adapts it from the push in and turn kind to the quick connect kind. And that's what the foam cannon actually uses to attach. And this kit also came with some different nozzles and stuff you can use. I haven't really played with those yet, but that's why it's important that this is for electric pressure washers, or again, maybe just cheap ones, I don't know. Speaking of, at the time of purchase, that thing was not cheap. This is probably one of the earlier electric pressure washers that were popular on the market. This guy, I think I got for Christmas 2007. So he's getting to be about 15 years old now. Oddly enough, it just hung out in my shed for like 10 years, completely unused, also completely un-air conditioned, so boiling, freezing, everything else. Came out of it working just fine. It does have a little soap mixing tank thing that adjusts, and that is the only thing that quit working on it. That never worked very awesome anyway, but that is the primary motivation behind getting one of these things. Plus they're just kind of fun, I have to confess, and you'll see. So let's clean off some driveway space and get this thing on out of here and get it washed up. I should also say this kit was the cheapest one on the day I bought it. So they probably change price all the time. Just find a kit that looks like this one that costs the least, and it's probably the exact same thing, just in a different box. It's one of those deals where a million Chinese sellers just list the same thing and they undercut each other by 50 cents. I will link all the stuff that you see in this video in the description, at least all the stuff that's applicable. Speaking of, that's going to be our wash soap selection of the day. And again, that is because it was the cheapest one that was on Amazon when I bought it. As you can see, I've used some of this already. It works reasonably well. But with the water at my house, which is going to be different than water at your house, I think I'm going to dilute it about 50% in the sprayer because it just seems to take forever to rinse it off. Anyway, time to get stuff cleared out and get out there and wash it. And there she be. This car hasn't really run in probably 6 to 9 months, so I'm just going to let it go ahead and sit there and idle while I wash it up, just so I don't have to jump in too many more times with narration. What I'm going to be doing here is just going around the car with just water to blast all the dust off and get anything big and heavy off. Probably do under the hood a little bit, and then we're going to switch out to the foam cannon and foam it, and then rinse it off, and I might do some wool mitt action in there somewhere. We'll just have to see. And it just started raining, literally as soon as I'm ready to go. So much for my glory shot of blowing all the dust off the car. Looks like Mother Nature's gonna do that for me. Really don't mind, I'm still gonna wash the car today. I just don't want my electric pressure washer sitting out there in the rain, and also certainly not my camera gear. And it looks like as soon as it started, it's pretty much gonna stop. So I've got the car rinsed off, got all the heavy dust off of it. There's still plenty on it. It's drying off quick too. And as I said, I filled this about half with water, and that's just based on previous experimentation. If I fill this whole thing with soap, it's enough to do every car in my block. Hopefully don't make a mess all over my bench with soap, because that's kind of impossible to clean up. Okay, QQ just screws back on. There is a flow rate adjustment on the top of this thing, but I have it all the way backed off already, and it still makes plenty of foam. The rest of the process is pretty straightforward here. Let's push this guy in a little bit, give it a turn. It pops out. Take the one from the kit, get it so it wants to line up, push it in, give it a turn. It's a little stiff to get started, which is fine. It can break in over time. And of course, I do this 10 times not on camera, and the one time I'm on camera, it's hard to do. There it goes. Simplest thing in the world. I was prepared to get on it with a friggin' wrench. And then the foam gun is just like a quick disconnect for an air fitting. You just pull that back, push it together until it locks, and you're done. You're ready to go. It's going to be real wobbly and you'll think it'll leak. It doesn't. I also do like to use this with 2 hands, so just because I don't like all this weight hanging off of my wand, and it's kind of uncomfortable. So I usually don't put them together until I absolutely need them. So that's going to be the next step. Go get the car foamed up and maybe wool mitt it. I haven't really dialed in my washing cars at home game yet, so we're still working on everything. So I got her all foamed up. I'm just gonna let it sit for a few minutes and kind of see if it can break up any of that. I'll probably give it a rinse, and then I imagine I am gonna wool mitt it. And that'll be a wool mitt with the foam cannon. Oh yeah, she's gonna need the soap in the mitt. You can probably even see how grainy it is, and I can definitely feel it. All the dust and probably overspray from painting projects and all kinds of things is sitting on there. Might even be a candidate for claying, but the paint on this car really isn't that nice. Either way, gotta get it clean before I can do anything else, so I'm gonna soap it up again, mitt it down. I will add, that's how much 50/50 soap solution I've used so far, which is a ton, and I think that's still even too much soap for my particular water. So I think in the future, like a 25% mix is what I'm gonna try. I did the Jeep at 100%. It was just a nightmare to get it rinsed off. This is much closer to where it needs to be for me. If you go with this, keep that in mind. I'm gonna go fill this all the way back up with water before I soap it up again, because I don't think it really needs that much more soap. It just needs some lubricant. So that all went pretty well. I did go over it with the mitt, and it's still impossible to get all the soap off with the water I have here, but it is what it is. That's not so much about this thing, but the long and short of it is I like this thing. I especially like that green tip. I hadn't played around with any of those before. That is roughly analogous to the tip that came on the gun to begin with for pressure washing, so it's pretty cool to just be able to quick change them. I will probably just leave the steel attachment in it now that I have a better understanding for how it works, but anyway, A+. I like this thing. I especially think this would be the kind of thing that, like if you have young kids, they'd get a big kick out of too. Let them have a soap fight in the backyard or whatever. If you have junk cars like me, let them try and wash them for half an afternoon and just play with bubbles. And there it is, all done. That is way more than just foam cannon. That's about 4 hours with quick detailer and then spray wax on top of that with a bunch of microfibers. And now the sun is just perfectly right that apparently even God wants you guys to believe this car is like twice as nice as it really is. Because I'm sure the video is cheating and the car isn't anywhere as nice as it looks right this second. It's just like perfectly overcast for a kind of okay black car. But anyway, that is the result of the day. As always guys, I appreciate you stopping in for this video. I'll catch you on the next one. I'm Max, that's Saddington Bear, and we make videos like this all the time. Here are a couple links to some other videos we've made, and we really appreciate you guys stopping in.